Hey everyone, it's Drew from Top City Gear, and today I just want to talk a little bit about a freaking awesome knife, the Kershaw Blackout. And this has actually been my primary EDC knife since, I think I got it on January 8th of 2011. So just over 18 months. I've been using this almost every day. Every once in a while I'd switch it out with something else, but I think I've put it through its paces. I use it at work a lot for different things, cutting open boxes, stripping wires, basically general maintenance work tasks. And I haven't been thrashing it or chopping down trees with it or anything, but the normal EDC stuff. Use it to open food packages a lot here at the house as well. This knife features Kershaw's Speedsafe system, which is their assisted opening system, and it actually works pretty darn well, and it still works well even after thousands of blade deployments over the last year and a half. I really can't complain about that. It's almost effortless how easy it opens. You just bump it up with your thumb and it opens and locks solid. Now I got this actually at Walmart for $39.97, which I didn't really realize at the time, but that's actually quite a bargain. And it doesn't seem like they really have it anymore, at least not in my local Walmarts. But yeah, I think a lot of places you can find it online for in the mid-50s right now. But even at that price, it's still really, really good. And this is probably going to be for most people an EDC or work type knife. You can also, probably work pretty good in self-defense as well. Get some dimensions here. The blade is 3 1/4 inches long. When it's all closed, it's 4 1/2 inches, and then the overall length is about 7 3/4, and it weighs 3 1/2 ounces, so it's fairly lightweight. The blade is actually a Sandvik 14C 28N stainless steel with a tungsten DLC coating, which, that's a lot of letters and numbers there, which I don't honestly know exactly what all that means, but I can tell you that the blade holds an edge probably about average. It's a lot better than the cheapy knives you can get at different places, but it does wear eventually, especially if you're cutting things like cardboard, which I do a lot. I just had it professionally sharpened a couple months ago, and it was shaving hair off my arm at that time, and then now it won't do that anymore, but it still cuts pretty decent. Of course, this one's got the serrated blade, which I actually prefer. I found that I know a lot of people don't like serrations, but I've found at least that, especially with cutting boxes, if you get the tape on a box or something hooked in one of those serrations, and it'll just slice right through it, no problem. And you can see the serrations are only ground on the one side, and they're just nothing on there. Now, as far as this tungsten DLC coating, as they call it, it actually has held up fairly darn well. I don't know if you can really see it. There's not a whole lot of wear on it. There's maybe a little bit at the corners. I have noticed that for when cutting different things, it'll leave streaks in the coating sometimes, but it always seems to go away eventually, which I thought was kind of weird. I tried cleaning it off, and usually it doesn't act like it wants to clean up very well, but eventually it just seems to go away, which is kind of weird. But at any rate, I can't complain about the coating. I mean, I think it's done really well considering the length of time I've been using it and what I do with it. Now the handle is actually a glass-filled nylon, they call it, and it actually is pretty nice too. It's got a little bit of grip on it, which I say a little bit because a lot of knives have more, and it's not real aggressive. But I actually kind of prefer that in an EDC knife. It kind of makes it glide out of the pocket a little bit easier, and you can still hang on to it pretty well. It's it's got the shape to it to to lock your fingers in and your palm around the back, so it actually works fairly well. One other thing to note is that the shape of the blade from the edge, it's not perfectly flat like a lot of other knives are. It's kind of got a hump to it. See if I can get it to focus right. There's kind of a hump here in the middle, and then it tapers at the end. Actually, both ends it tapers a little bit more at this end though. I think that shape to it is kind of nice. It kind of gives it a little bit, you know, better feel in the hand, a little more ergonomic than something that's just perfectly flat. But it's also nice that it's tapered here because it makes it a little easier to get it in a pocket, so it doesn't actually feel thick, even though in the middle it is fairly thick. Now the pocket clip on this is also pretty nice. It has a little more wear on it than probably any other part on the knife. I don't know if camera really picks it up well, but it's black, but here on the ends, some of the black is worn off, and certainly on the screw heads, which is where my thumb or finger would be grabbing it out of my pocket all the time. It's blackness is worn off there, but it's really a strong clip. I mean, it snaps tight, and it's never sprung and stayed out, so it always stays tight, and it feels like a real high quality spring steel. It doesn't have too much of a raise here, so it doesn't catch on things when it's in your pocket, but it's still fairly easy to get wrapped around the fabric of your pocket. Sometimes I do have to pull it out a little bit just to, if I've got a pair of jeans or something with a thick seam on the end of the pocket. But overall, it works really, really nice. And I've only had it loosen up on me once. I just had to tighten these screws up, and it was perfectly fine after that. And then on the blade here, it does have a reversible thumb stud. It's just got a screw head on the back of the stud, and a little bit of the blackness is worn off of that, but that's probably to be expected with opening and closing it a couple thousand times. It also does have a lanyard hole in the end, but it's so small it's about worthless really. You'd probably have to put a small keyring or something through there, and then a lanyard through the keyring to really make it useful. And it also has a little bit of jimping on the end of the blade there, which is pretty nice. So overall, it feels really nice. I've got relatively small hands, so it really fits my hand nice. Someone with larger hands, maybe not, but I think overall it'd be really good. And it also has a pretty nice reverse grip as well. If you wanted to hold it like that, it really fits really good. Now, talking a little bit more about just the user experience on this, the blade opening, it really is what makes the knife, I think. It's just so reliable, so effortless. I'll show you here, even if you just barely, it reaches a point where you can just lift the blade open and just barely slowly open it, and it reaches a point where it will take over and snap open. And then of course it's got the liner lock to hold it open. Easy to work one-handed. I mean, it's just so freaking, I just love that. And I've had a lot of people comment on it when I whip this out and flick it open. They're like, what is that? Those are non-knife knowing people probably, but it's just so, and it's easy to close one-handed too. You just get a little practice to it, and it works really good. And then also reverse opening, it works pretty good too. If you just flick it with, like, say, your middle finger, you can do like that, and then you've got a reverse grip ready for action. Now, of course, the pocket clip on this is not reversible either from side to side or from tip up to tip down carry, so you're pretty much stuck basically with the right hand carry. I'm actually left-handed, but I've gotten quite used to used to it opening on the right side, so I can just pull it out of my pocket basically like this, put it in my hand, flick it, and it's open. Here's what it looks like in the pocket, and just kind of show you how easy it is to operate one-handed, which is great for EDC tasks. You just pull it out, flick it, and it opens. Close it back up, stick it back in. Comes in and out real nice. As long as I've had this, the opening system has never failed to open. I mean, it's been super reliable. It still opens rock solid and locks in place. There's maybe a little bit of side-to-side wobble, just barely, and I've never had to tighten down the pivot screws, so can't complain there. Now, because this knife is such good quality, such a good price, so versatile and useful in different applications. It's got a good general size to it. It's not too big or small. I think it'd really work for a lot of people. As long as the non-adjustability of the pocket clip is not a deal breaker for you, I think you'd really like it. So thanks for watching, and stay prepared.